If you've been on my YouTube channel, you know that I have been shooting with a Hasselblad camera for like 5 years, since about 2019 when I got the 500 CM. And when they released the CFV50C back for that camera, I got it because I thought that the 500 CM as a digital camera was an amazing piece of equipment, and it is. But sometimes I find myself needing a digital system that is just a little bit smaller, but I've grown accustomed to the shooting experience of Hasselblad film cameras and the colors and resolution that they offer. So I just picked up, for the first time, an XCD lens. And I literally opened the box before coming into work today, and I gotta say that this is really an incredibly well-made lens. So this is the 28p lens, and it's completely metal, as well as the rear body cap, which I actually haven't taken off. So I'm going to pull the camera a little bit closer so we can see all this. And this is the smallest lens in the Hasselblad lineup. Can I get this in frame? There we go. The outside focus ring is solid metal and flush with the barrel of the body, and it is engraved on the edge with these wonderful little H's. I'll take off the body caps, which are solid metal, and we have the shutter in there, which is a bit different than the V-system lenses for the Hasselblad 500 series cameras. It's more of an elliptical shape, whereas I'm generally used to the, well, almost perfectly circular shutter system. So I'm going to try mounting this to my camera for the first time. This is not something that I've done. I have used this camera with adapted lenses before, but this would be the first time using an actual Hasselblad lens. So just find the red dot, line that up, and that makes this the smallest medium format camera system currently on the market, which is something I'm definitely interested in. I don't really make a lot of use of fast shutter speeds or autofocus. Neither of those are things that I'm used to with shooting film cameras. So when I want the convenience of digital, I'm okay with those slower setbacks. I did consider selling in pretty much all of my digital camera gear and consolidating to an X2D. I think 100 megapixels is a bit too much for most use cases, but I can't deny the benefits of IBIS and a slightly faster electronic shutter for using third-party lenses. Because the Hasselblad lens system, while they're quality lenses, they're just obscenely expensive. And the other thing that I love about this camera system is that we have a tilt screen, and it can tilt at a 45 and a 90 degree angle. And as somebody who loves the 500 series cameras, this is kind of like that waist level viewing experience. And that is something that when I am taking pictures, whether it be out and about or product photography here in the shop, that is something that I use all the time. So we'll turn this on and see what happens. I've never used an actual XCD lens before. Alright, so let's just take a quick peek now that we're on aperture priority. And we'll go into live view and at 5.6. For the sake of better lighting, we're going to face into the shop a little bit more. I did have to go into settings under my, what was it? Exposure settings, and turn off the electronic shutter. And we have autofocus. It's not continual, I don't believe. But that definitely works plenty fast for most of the stuff that I do when I use 90% manual focus lenses. It's a very quiet shutter click. I'm not even sure you can hear that, so let's take the microphone off and take one more picture. Very nice. And we can double tap and zoom in on our picture there. And looking at just the sharpness of the lens, I'm very impressed. I mean, I knew the optics would be sharp. This is about on par with what I get with the older series of lenses. Let's see if I can try manual focusing. Let me figure out how to do that. I've only ever used really the 500 series camera, so this is all kind of a new experience. And now I want to figure out, okay, so there we go. We can switch now to manual focus, and if we turn our focus ring, it's a very short throw from infinity focus to close focus. The manual focus is pretty nice and smooth. And we can double check to test critical focus. So we're a little bit too close on that, but if I move our object back a dot, we get some better focus on that. We'll take that picture and zoom in on it a little bit. And that is super sharp. It looks amazing. One of the great things about this lens in general, and with any of the Hasselblad stuff, is that since it is a leaf shutter, there is almost no mechanical camera shake with these cameras. Now, I was using some third-party lenses on there, and the electronic shutter is okay, but the rolling shutter is an absolute disaster. It's terrible. So you really have to have a mechanical shutter on this. On the 500 series film cameras, you have a massive mirror that prevents you from really using speeds handheld below a 30th of a second. Anything else, you need to use mirror lockup on a tripod. Even the vibrations from the shutter mechanism itself on those older lenses do sometimes impact the image, but on a good solid tripod, about 1 second is pretty sharp still. With the modern leaf shutter lenses, they are so much quieter and so much less intrusive that even on a camera body without optical image stabilization, I was able to handhold a shot at a 1/6 of a second. 1/6, and it is still sharp without any camera shake. And that is, of course, again, without any optical image stabilization. So that also makes me feel like maybe I would be good with the X1D2 instead of going for the massive X2D, because I do like my 50 megapixel sensors and stuff. And the camera itself just looks wonderful. It is a really, really nice camera, and that is true for all Hasselblad cameras. And I have most definitely loved using this with my film camera, but being able to play with this lens, even just for a little bit today, has really changed what I have thought is possible with digital systems. Because my main issue, the main reason I shoot film, is because I feel like the cameras themselves are better. They do what I want them to do, and they're easier to work with. And when you get digital cameras that kind of follow after the same form factor and feel of film cameras, you get something that is a lot more intuitive and that gets in the way a lot less.